Well, actually, it ended up being a pretty good half for Sacramento. They were down and they fought back to make it a 4-point game at the half against the Celts. No Jaylen Brown. The Celts still lead 54-50. I mean, it was really the De'Aaron Fox show. Nobody else. The Kings got nothing from their bench. Absolutely nothing from their bench. They did get 21 from Fox. He was outstanding, Rhino.
Yeah, Fox was great, 14 there in the second quarter to really bring them back. And Grant, the Kings were not getting bad looks. They just didn't have shots going down, and they were a little bit sloppy with the basketball. But you can't ask for more in Boston on the second night of a back-to-back.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're going to be in for a real tough game in the third and fourth quarters. But I give them a lot of credit for the way they battled in that second quarter. But they're going to need a lot. They're going to need a lot more than De'Aaron Fox. They're going to need a lot more than De'Aaron Fox because Fox was just outstanding in that first half. Jerry Reynolds joins us, and Jerry, the Kings, I think, got to feel very good right now to be within 4 points.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably had just an awful first quarter and really fought back, and now they're back in the game. And of course, as you said, I mean, basically De'Aaron Fox just put the team on his back and got him there. But you can't really. I mean, even De'Aaron's not going to be able to do that for the second half of the entire half. So I need a little more help. I thought Davon Mitchell was terrific in his stint, and I do kind of wish the Kings against that zone would go inside more because you could play inside out very easily and get some easier threes, if not score in the paint a little bit.
Yeah, good point, Jerry. They have not sent anybody to the middle of that zone to try to break it. Sabonis, Keegan, that's who I'm looking at, maybe even Harrison. But something you said about Davion caught my ears. Are we looking at him more as a little bit of a creator now? He's getting guys open.
Yeah, he really is. And he's using his quickness and getting past people, a little more confidence with playmaking ability. And of course, I think some of that comes from the fact he's got so much more confidence in his shooting. So that kind of sometimes just fits together. But Davion, they're certainly showing a lot more ability this last month.
Very fast moving game because nobody got to the line. 5 free throws for the Kings and only 4 for the Celtics. It was a very fast moving half, Jerry.
Well, you have a tough time fouling people if everybody's shooting long.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nobody trying to do much. Certainly, as everybody the Celtics are just quite honestly a better version of the Kings as far as depending on the 3-point shot.
I think the Kings are going to have a really difficult time here in the second half. Good teams will sometimes, I don't want to say go through the motions, and I'm not saying that what Boston did, but we didn't see the top version of Boston. And I think with the bench is doing nothing. Now, you can say what you want about Mitchell, and I agree with you. I thought he played well, but eventually you're going to need somebody else other than De'Aaron Fox to score here in the second half. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I do think one thing about the Celtics, defensively, they're just not as good without Derek White and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
That's their two best individual.
Yep.
So, I think the Kings, if in fact they can get the ball moving better and take care of it better, I think, the Celtics are easier to score on than they normally would be.
Interesting take there that they would be easier to score on. I could see that, Jerry. I just know that the Kings had a golden opportunity at the start of this game to really put some points between them and Boston. Boston started out ice cold. I don't know that the Celtics are going to give them another opportunity like that again. So I think, gentlemen, the Kings are going to have to create it.
Oh, yeah, they're not. Yep. I mean, they're going to settle in. But I think the Kings have settled in. So, all we can do is just hope that what we saw from the Kings in the second quarter is what you see from them in the second half, because that's what it's going to take.
All right, let's get some predictions. I think Boston's going to win this game 114-102. And I think the Kings are going to run out of steam here. I don't think Fox can keep that up in the second half. And without Fox, just looking at the flow of this game, I just don't see it. I think they're going to have a difficult time. Boston only 3 home losses. They'll figure out a way to pull away and win this game. How do you guys see it?
I'm going Boston 117-99.
I'm going Boston 112-104.
All right, I'm going to give you an interesting observation because we watch every game. So I talked to a individual earlier today that was at the Sixers game, the first Dallas game, and he was at the Garden last night, and he covers the NBA extensively, is at multiple games a week, is extremely well connected, and I always respect his opinion. I don't want to say his name, but Jerry, you know who I'm talking about because he worked with us in Boston a lot. And I asked him, what is your take on the Kings? And he said, boy, are they soft. It's the first thing he said to me. Boy, are they soft. And then I asked him about the overall. He goes, listen, the Kings were the darlings of the NBA last year. Everything went right. They didn't have any injuries. They snuck up on people. He goes, but they didn't get better this year. And he said to me that, when they're clicking, they're fun to watch. But he said that's the only way they're going to beat you. But he said the first thing that stuck out to me after watching them 3 times in a little more than a week is how soft they are. And he said, look at the second half last night of the Knicks game. He said it was a layup drill. He goes, it was a joke, and I just thought it was interesting that that's the first thing he said to me.
Well, I think I would agree with that. This is not a very physical team. And that's something that we've said in the past, that we thought they needed kind of a dog. I know Ryan's, we've talked about that.
Yeah.
A little, I call him little shitbird out there to get after guys and stuff. And the Kings really just, I think Davon could have a little of that, but he's about the only one. And they definitely needed that. And then to the other point, this team basically is pretty much the same team they had last year.
Yep.
Where in the West, everybody else pretty much either made additions or they were already better.
And Jerry,
and that makes it, and that's kind of explains a lot where you are.
And Jerry, think about this too. It wasn't just in the offseason. Think about last year's trade deadline. It was busy. Teams got better, and the Kings basically stood pat.
Yeah, the Lakers really improved themselves at trade deadline last year. Now, one of the things, they didn't add a lot of guys, but they've used this year to really get those guys totally involved, and they're more comfortable. But I say with Dallas, added 2 starters at the trade deadline, and Phoenix added a key 6th, 7th man type. So, and then plus the Kings now have had injuries, which they didn't really have last year.
That's right.
Malik Monk's the 3rd best player, and granted, you're talking about last night against the Knicks. That's where Monk, you have another guy who can create a shot.
Bingo.
And other than Fox, and now teams know that. That's another weakness. This team really needs more players who have the ability to go create a shot off the dribble.
Other score that's important: New Orleans is leading San Antonio 31-20. So if the Kings do lose, it's going to be a very difficult spot for them to be in to get to a 6th seed. As you look at the back end of this road trip, Oklahoma City right now still does not have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with a quad injury, and we don't know if he's going to be available for that game. That's a little bit ways down the road, and so we'll see. But I'm impressed with how the Kings played in that second quarter, but I need to see more than just one guy, and that's why I think Boston's. Well, first of all, I think we all agree. Nobody would debate us on this. Boston's a better team even without Jaylen Brown, and but who? I guess so. The question is, who's going to be that guy? Who's going to provide the offense in the second half if his name's not De'Aaron Fox?
Well, I'm going to go for somebody off the bench. I'm not going to name a starter. I think it's going to be Kessler Edwards. He does not look like he's hesitating. I think he fits okay into that role in this game. I think he can play the zone a little bit. So Kess is my guy, Jer.
Well, I think, he's playing with some confidence now. Basically what you don't know is how much he'll play.
Exactly.
Thought Trey Lyles was really ineffective in that first half. So maybe Kessler will get a little more time. But I think it's very important certainly for Murray and Barnes to really step up. Obviously Harrison was missing in action last night. And so you've got to get significant offense from those 2 guys.
And again, I hate to keep on talking about this, but because I really like how Keon Ellis plays. I really do. But, we go back to this notion again that the shooting guard in the NBA, right? Your 2 guard in the league, the way the league is played now, you need to score. And the reality is that's not his game. When he scores, it's a bonus. He does a lot of good things, but it's really difficult in the NBA to have a shooting guard who doesn't shoot and doesn't score. And that's what you're getting. Like even in the second half last night, he did nothing. And I'm talking about offensively. All right. I understand there's another part of the floor, and I know he does very well, and I know he does a lot of things. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is because of injuries, he's now had to move into a starting role, which he's not a starter. He just isn't. He could be a really good reserve role player, in my opinion. And I see that as an issue without Monk continuing to going forward because you don't have Kevin Huerter.
Well, yeah, I think that Keon is kind of the perfect, not perfect, but a type of what I call third guard, because he could play
third guard.
He can play with a Monk or with a Fox, guys that are creative scorers, and he can kind of cover for them defensively.
Yeah.
And so I like that. I will say this: as good as he is defensively, I don't think he doesn't stay in front of his man anywhere near like Mitchell does. He basically gets more deflections and stuff like that. But as far as just actually, being a
man-to-man defense, you're talking about?
He's not a man-to-man defender.
Just man-to-man. I think we've probably given him a little bit more credit than maybe it's due.
100%.
He's not a starter. He's not a starter. That's really in a nutshell.
No, if you want to be real good, I think he has a chance to be a good 20-minute third guard. I really do.
Yeah.
But that's what we're talking about.
Well, we're going to be talking about this game in a little more than an hour, and we'll see if the Kings can pull off a stunner. This would be a stunner, playing a Celtics team that's only lost 3 in a row. I know they don't have Jaylen Brown, but, the Knicks last night didn't have 2 key players, and they scored 68 in the second half. I think Boston's going to have a similar half, and I think it's going to be difficult. Someone other than Fox, as we said. But I tell you, again, I'm really impressed with what I saw from the Kings overall in that first half, though. The way they lost that game last night, playing a Boston team, to be down by 4, Rhino, I mean, if you told me the Kings were going to only be down by 4 at the half, I would have taken it before the game started.
Yeah, give it to me all day. That's why they play the game. Things can happen. Guys get injured. Guys have babies that go into labor. We've seen it this season.
Yep, very good point.
Well, all I know is, I want to be stunned, Grant. I need some stunning.
WrestleMania.
I'm in the mood to really get stunned. That's all I can tell you.
WrestleMania is this weekend, Jerry. Plenty of stunners for you.
I'd like to be stunned tonight. I can't wait for that.
All right, Jerry. Thank you very much. Enjoy the weekend.
See you guys.
All right, bye,
good
Jerry.
Stuff from Jerry and Rhino. We look forward to doing it in an hour. We'll see. You never know. As you said, that's why they play the game, buddy.
That's why they play the game. Quote John Finch every single day. We'll see you later.
We'll be back in an hour or so right here on If You Don't Like That.